What's going on YouTube? Welcome in. We got a beautiful build for you. Today we're finally building with Corsair's new cooler. And you're like, Corsair's got a new cooler? I said, yes, they do. Now they're on to the Nautilus. And you're like, what's different about the Nautilus? Well, Corsair's finally coming out with a cooler that does not need to use its own proprietary software. It means we're finally diving into coolers that they support that work with your onboard RGB programs or your Linearly programs or any of the other kind of systems that you control through your motherboard. Today's system we're starting with is the 14700K. Right now it's priced extremely well with the new Core Ultras coming out, but it's a fantastic CPU in terms of gaming, editing performance. It has it. Paired with 32 gigs of DDR5 coming in 6400 megahertz from Team Group and the Delta RGB. We've got a 2 terabyte Kingston KC3000 drive, which is one of our favorite drives here at Stinspill. We're putting it all on the Z790 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi board coming from MSI as well. And we're putting it in the H5 Flow RGB, which look really nice with this Nautilus cooler from Corsair. We're powering today's system with the 850G coming in from Asus and that beautiful TUF braided cable power supply that's ATX 3.0 and PCIe 5 compliant. Power it all off with the graphics side. We're going with the RTX 4070 Ti Super coming in the Ventus OC3 Fan Edition, which is really one of the best value cards that you can buy when it comes from MSI. Let us know down below in the comments. Make sure that like button helps us with the algorithm. And let us know what you want to see us build here next on our YouTube channel. Want to catch us live on it raw like it is right now as I butcher this intro? You can join us any Monday, Wednesday, or Friday over our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/stints. We stream around 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and we hope to see you soon. All right, let's get everything down off the top here. Get right into it today, guys. Good morning. It's a fantastic system today. Really good budget, really good performance. Overall, fantastic system. That's something we put together over on our website builder, !builder, if you guys want to go check it out. Let's get this motherboard out. Let's get started on this today. Price on today's build, around $2,400. I know this is actually a customer order today. This is a customer order. They picked these parts. They picked some darn good parts, honestly. I love when you see a customer build come in, you're like, all right. They did their research on what parts to pick. They did a good job. And if we ever have that issue, let's say a customer orders a PC from us, we will actually call them and be like, hey, there's a few things that we'd like to either upgrade for you on the house, or we'd recommend changing, and we'll do that. So, motherboard you guys picked today is fantastic. The Gaming Plus is a really good entry-level board that MSI makes. This and the Tomahawk are probably our two most utilized boards. They're really good IO on the back, plenty of USB peripherals as well, plenty of USB slots. Obviously you have your 2.5 gig plus your Wi-Fi 6E, USB flash, or flat BIOS flashback built in, dual EPS ports on the top, everything you need. 4 NVMe slots. That's a really good overall board. Let's get started with the CPU today. 14700K. Take a look at the socket, make sure the socket is good on this board. It sure is. The CPU does really well games like Black Ops, Tarkov, anything you kind of throw at it right now, it's doing extremely well. Productivity, editing, you name it. The i7s do really well. Down the slot it goes. Next, work on our NVMe drive today, the KC3000 2 terabyte. This would be the drive that I would put in my system right now. If I was gonna build a brand new system, it would be the KC. Good controller, it's got DRAM built in. It's a phenomenal drive that Kingston has made. Probably our #1 drive actually right now that we utilize here and sell would be the KC3000 2 terabyte drive. That or the 1 terabyte drive. Crazy, we sell, just because of the performance. The Kingston's really done a huge job in the last couple of years, becoming like one of the most sought after brands in terms of NVMe drives, because their longevity, their warranty, like 3 to 5 years on most of their drives, plus like their warranty is phenomenal. Like, you have a problem with their drive, they're like overnighting you drives, which is unheard of in this space, which is really, really good to have. That's one of the many reasons why we use them. Their team is extremely knowledgeable and super friendly. Probably one of the best sales and service teams that we've ever worked with. Outside of probably maybe Deepcool actually. Deepcool and probably Kingston are probably the two best we work with. Why the KC instead of the other popular brands? Honestly, the performance of the KC3000 rivals like the Samsung 990 for a lower cost and probably a better warranty and customer support experience if a customer ever needs to have it. Like, we used to use a lot of Crucial drives, and I will say they were probably one of the most biggest headache companies we work with. Outside of their marketing being phenomenal, their drives are the highest failure rate we've ever used. And by highest failure, I've got stacks over here that we could either get warranted or RMA'd. If I ever have that problem with like a Kingston drive, like I don't even have to provide the serial number. That's what Kingston's like, yep, because they know the volume that we buy. They'll get us a drive next day. We're just taken care of. And we'll get the other one that was box shipped back to them, we'll ship back to them, because they stand by their product. They don't question it, they just know. Like, all right, they use it, their customer service is unmatched. Probably the best customer service I've ever had out of any company we worked with has been with Kingston. And that's not light to say. Like, we've worked with a lot of companies and their stuff has just been exceptional. The marketing support they do, the things they do for the community, has been unmatched. That's why we use a lot of Kingston stuff. And not to mention, If you look at like the read-write speeds on like the KCs, they will typically beat a lot of the competition at a similar price and have a warranty that backs it. So it's no brainer for us. Like Samsung, Western Digital, they're great. We've been absolutely loving Kingston stuff. All right, let's go back to above and start putting on the cooler. Let's get the cooler out. Let's take a look at this new cooler. This is what I'm excited to see, the Nautilus. Very well priced. As it says right here, you can see, let's look at the top of the box and the packaging, the Nautilus 240 RS ARGB, performance 250mm liquid AIO cooler. Pump design looks absolutely stunning. I like this pump design, I like the fans. I heard really good things about this cooler. Talk about the back, what they say here. It's an efficient low noise cooling to help your CPU reach its full potential. No additional controllers necessary. Finally, from Corsair. Love to see that. The RS120 fans become the new staple that they're gonna be pushing outside the Link fans. They deliver high performance airflow with static pressure with 8 RGBs per fan. You can daisy chain the fan systems when reducing wiring, and the precise PWM fan control through your motherboard, which is phenomenal. It's compatible with all the new H1851, LGA 1700, 1851, and AM5, AM4 platforms. Perfecto. All right, let's take a look at it. So here's our accessories. We have our Intel backplate, our 240 accessories here. That's all they have right in those little packages. What else do we have? We have our manual. Here we go. Should be pretty straightforward. This is our system warranty. Here's our manual. They don't tell me they're doing the whole scan QR stuff. I hate when they do that. Get our Intel backplate. Take off our 3M mounting strips. This mounts to the back of the backplate. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. All in. Take it to the back of the PCB mounts or the Intel backplate. Boom. It's on. There it is. There's our little RGB. This is almost like it looks like a extension cable for the RGB, extension cable for the fans. Okay. We got our thumb nuts. We got our AMD standoffs. Our screws for the rad. Our 1700 standoffs, which is the same as LGA 1500 because of the same distance for the clearance on the top of the CCD and the top of the processor. Our thumb nuts we'll need later. Get our standoff screws here. Oh, this bag's all empty. These are our 1700, 1851 standoffs. All right, let's get our RAM next. We have the TEAMDelta GeForce Delta RGB RAM today. 32 gigs coming in at 6400 megahertz, DDR5, CL32 timings. Fantastic RAM, looks really good on this motherboard as well. Accentuates the design and aesthetic of the gaming boards. In we go with our first DIMM. There we go. Our second. There we go, looks absolutely great there on that board. All set, let's get this case out, all right? Again, let's talk about what we have on down here on the socket. First off, we're starting with our 14700K. We're cooling it today again with that new Corsair 240 RS Nautilus cooler coming in from Corsair. We have our 2 terabyte KC3000 down in our primary NVMe slot 1. And we have 32 gigs of TeamDelta RGB RAM, 6400 megahertz, DDR5, CL32 timings. Absolutely beautiful little setup we have here. We're gonna slide this aside and get out our H5 Flow. Now the H5 Flow has come out. They have done a little revision here in 2024. We are going with a 2023 or 2022 ARGB H5 Flow RGB version. A little bit more compact than the new one. It kind of almost replaced the H7 in size, as the new H7 RGB Flow has gone more to a 10-fan, almost dual chamber design. This is staying tried and true with only a 240. Now the new H5 variant looks like it can support a 360 top mount, which is kind of making it a little more compact, but it does feel almost the same size as the older H7s. So there it is. There we go, get our back panel off and down and in. Let's get our glass off the front. There's a slightly tinted tempered glass, which is nice. There it is. Take off our top for our AIO, which we'll have to mount later. I'll open up, let's get our case accessories here off the back. The reason I do like this case is it's got the two 140 millimeter fans in the front, a 140 already installed, and then as well, we call it the toilet bowl fan down on the bottom, you can see right there. As you can slightly see right there. Plenty of cable management on the back, nice and light, nice and small, nice and compact, but you're still able to put powerful systems inside of it, which is what we're doing here today. Drop this beautiful board down and in. There we go, all in. Get the screw down and in. NZXT uses a proprietary screw on this case. Is the CPU better than the 7800X3D? In some areas it's not. 14700K will outperform the 7800X3D in things like Adobe programs. Some titles it may do as well. Sometimes a higher fidelity for like 4K, like higher resolutions, it can do really well. But there it is, all mounted in that motherboard. There's a motherboard inside of the case. Let's start working on our front panel connections before we move on to the power supply and then the cooler. Let's get our Type-C and our USB 3.0 headers in. And work on our front panel connections and our RGB and our fans next. All right, first in is going to be our USB 3.0. There it is. Next will be our Type-C. There we go, and there we go. Let's get our fans all hooked up here. The first fan, We get our ARGB in here as well. And we need our front panel connection before we move on to power supply next chat. There we go. Front panel's in. Next, we're gonna work on our power supply. See, the cable's looking pretty clean so far. We'll dial in a little bit more when we get everything else plugged in. The back's looking pretty clean. That power supply, the 850G today from Asus. Two power supplies we carry here are the GLs and the AGs from MSI, and then our G series from the TUF Gaming from Asus, which are our favorite power supplies right now. Cables we'll need today and our power supply out. I don't know if we need any SATA power. Oh, no SATA power today, fantastic. 12 volt high power for our GPU. This is PCIE, do not need. We'll need another SATA, a dual CPU, and a 24 pin main. Those 4 cables are all we need today. These are the cables that go in the motherboard box. There we go, all of our cables are in. Those nice braided cables on the Asus power supply. We're gonna slide this down and in to the basement. All right, all in on the power supply. Let's start running some of our cables. It's our EPS, get these up and in. There's one. Seated and secure, number 2 in. All in on the EPS, which are our CPU power. I like that there's some Velcro built in on this case. It's really nice to help guide the cables. Good thought process from NZXT. All right, next we're working on our 24 pin main motherboard. Over and in. Connect here. Nice and seated there. What's better, liquid cooling or fan cooling? It really depends on the system. So some fans will have trouble when you're doing like, especially also what you're doing with the system. If you're gonna be on editing and you're gonna be constantly using like a X264, any kind of like CPU encoding, you're definitely gonna wanna be on a really good liquid cooling unit. If you're just been doing games on a casual lower core CPU with a lower TDP or power draw, air coolers will do fine. And then obviously you have there's multiple versions of liquid cooling. You can go crazy and do like a closed or a open loop system where you see all the glass, the tubing and things like that. Or you can do a closed loop system, which is an AIO, which we're utilizing today. They're more efficient, more for the casual enthusiast versus like the high-end enthusiast might want to do liquid cooling where you have to go in and like, you know, flush the liquids every couple of months to make sure the fluids are staying in really good shape, things like that. So all of our cables in the back are pretty much in. You can see right there. Move on to the cooler now. All right, so I'm gonna slide this aside. You guys can look at this. I'm gonna put the screws in right now for the rad. Really nice little, these aren't super fancy, it's just a really nice, good cooler unit from Corsair. I like what I'm seeing so far. Daisy chainable, which is nice too. We'll address that here in a minute, making sure everything's nice and clean. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna work on mounting this pump head. So what we're gonna do is actually gonna go top down so you can see that. It's a brand new cooler, it's already got pre-applied thermal paste, I'm guessing, yes they do. And it's also even the way you wanted to have it. It's really nice from Corsair. It's already gridded. Down and on we go with the cooler. All right, so we're screwing in our pump to our face. You reapply your own thermal paste instead of leaving the default? It depends. Like this is a brand new cooler, literally just came out like not even like a month ago, and it was already gridded. Like the power supply on the back was like set up perfectly for a CPU. And then they're using TM. Corsair has a really high-end thermal paste, so this one 100% would not need to reapply. Some depends on the cooler brands. Some have more superior kind of thermal paste, that makes sense. All right. We're looking, chat, looking good. It's pretty solid. So you can see what we did here. The cable's all off the top of the AIO. Just cleaned it up nice and neat up top there. Everything's done. Everything's mounted on here. Let's grab our GPU, chat. 4070 Ti Ventus. We're putting a thick boy in here, man. It's a pretty good sized card. Without being overly thick. Fantastic little GPU from MSI today. GPU is all out, and there it is, chat. 4070 Ti Super. It's a 2 slaughter today. It is a 4070 Ti Super Ventus OC. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. A little thunk. Really well supported. Not super heavy card, but it's powerful. Dropping our 16 pin 12 volt high power cable. All secure on the card. Pull some of the slack through in the bottom. All done. All cable managed. All we have to do is pull off the cellophane for the cooler, which is the new Nautilus, AJ, which we got it on the website. We're gonna replace all the XTs with the Nautilus now. The XTs are EOL. They have the link in the Nautilus now. And this is supposed to perform within the specs of the XT, while utilizing the factory ARGB, which is finally something we've been waiting for from Corsair. A high power cooler that runs on the factory ARGB from like the motherboard, which you don't have to install IQ and get all crazy with. Let's go, guys. Let's let it exclamation point, let up in chat. Let's go.
Guys, thanks for coming in and liking another video here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, help us with the algorithm. Make sure people find us and see all the beautiful PCs we build. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button as well. Remember, we build these systems live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/stints. Come over, hang out, chat it up with us, watch us build beautiful PCs for everybody in the community. And remember, let's go.